You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. This is what we're getting. The toilet paper manual with no normal explanation into languages. We have an AV out cable. Come on, AV out. Then we're having over here the USB-C cable. Okay, that's great. They're using our USB-C or Type-C. But the first thing I've noticed that this thing does have like a very nice feel to it when it comes to the weight itself. The weird thing is that we're only having 2 shoulder buttons. And they're just micro switch like previous models. At the front we're having the screen protector we're going to be removing. I always leave the plastics on normally. It's going to be difficult to record simply because of the super reflective. And I can tell you when just touching it, it's a little bit harder plastic than normal, but you need to be careful with this. So we're having over here the D-pad, 2 slider joysticks, the ABXY, and they feel absolutely horrible with the long travel, and they are very tiny. Over here having the menu, select start at the bottom, and that is kind of interesting. So having the micro USB, having 2 USB ports, and over here an USB-C. At the left, having micro SD card, volume control. At the top, having the indication, and this is the reason because the thing is also a power bank. I'm guessing you can see the indication of how far the battery inside is filled up with some juice, and already powering on, and you can hear the music. It's a familiar one, and the jack out, but there's no HDMI functionality, so that is absolutely the big downside. But let's boot it up and let's see what are we getting with the menu, because it sounds really familiar. Because it's the music that we've seen before with all kinds of different Chinese devices, plug-and-play devices, you name it, and most of the time they were not like super bad. Yeah, so the front glass is quite, let's say, plastic fantastic and reflective, but the display, they were not lying for once. It's indeed a beautiful display that we're getting inside the machine itself. But let's move through the other functions. So I'm curious how the main will run on this. You can really see I do struggle navigating through the menu because the D-pad is very loose and it's quite difficult to use. But let's start with some Famicom. Let's click on it. Oh man, I need to press the start button. There we go. And sometimes it's A, sometimes it's B, sometimes it's start, and there's no consistency when it comes to these things. But in here we're finding the game list over here, and here you can just actually see it with a very nice screenshot what it actually is. But the emulation of this Famicom is just great. No weird things going on with the audio. The D-pad plays great. Also the analog stick. They did map the right joystick to the functionality keys or function keys. We do see some screen time, I'm guessing. It's going to be side-scrolling movement. Well, besides that, I can really enjoy myself some turtles on this. So yeah, Famicom emulation, it's nice. Pressing the R will give you the menu over here where we can make a quick save and quick load. I always need to get used to this, but you can see pressing start will make you a quick load, quick save situation. So that's kind of cool. Joystick mode, we can map the joystick buttons and having over here different ball regions. But I'm quite disappointed that there is no, let's say, aspect ratio option. I did notice there was some back bleeding going on over here. I just wanted to showcase. And another thing is like getting into the Super Famicom. But this seems to be all working just fine. No weird craziness when it comes to the overall performance of the emulation. That's kind of weird. So the shoulder button shooting, that is not like it's supposed to be. It's not a super bad thing. All the sound effects are here. Okay. I can really enjoy it. Simply because of the beautiful display, the moving character with the D-pad or the analog stick, everything seems to be working just fine. Time for some Sega Genesis or Mega Drive. Whoa. Okay, so lower the volume. Okay, let's see if they messed up the buttons. Yep, they put the jumping on the shoulder, like always, because I'm guessing this is the C button, because I have A, B, X, Y, and C is over here. But so far I can just see everything seems to be working just fine. Nope, missed the power up. No beefcake. Oh, nope, no beefcake. No, no weird thing going on over here. Great emulation performance. I'm getting punched in the face. Yeah. Okay, moving on to some Game Boy. And yeah, this is quite enjoyable. We also have normal buttons. And it seems to be that everything is turbo mode now. But when it comes to overall performance, yeah. Game Boy Color is another cool device to play on this, and it looks absolutely great. And the emulation itself seems to be working just fine. Okay, so when you're looking at some Game Boy Advance, maybe the resolution will not be perfect. And to be honest, I do have second guesses if this is going to be the perfect resolution display, but it looks absolutely great. But it's such an annoying thing that there's always something they need to mess up, and Game Boy Advance is completely unplayable. You can just see how slow, it doesn't react at all, and the audio is just clearly glitching. And that is one of those many things that I don't get. It's like, why? But actually looking at the arcade part of it, it seems to be working just fine. Moving around is no problem whatsoever, no weird slowdowns. The button configuration is kind of weird. Having jump over here, okay. So that's what he thinks with these, like, say, Chinese handhelds. Somehow we have like a Game of Thrones that doesn't run at all or great at all and is unplayable, but we have a MAME that runs great. What the hell is going on with these guys? Okay, let's get a little bit more difficult the version of, let's say, the arcade soft to ROM. And also test out how deep it actually works, because that is something I didn't do before. Because I'm really curious. Also, this looks and plays amazing. So far, so good. Okay. Yep, the D-pad is great. Alright. Yep, no problem whatsoever. So when it comes to MAME, you can actually really enjoy it over here. Okay, so Neo Geo was starting up with some minor hiccups. Let's go through the game. Don't hear anything there. Yeah, you can clearly hear that it does struggle here and there, but don't want the flamethrower. No, I didn't want the flamethrower. Oh. So let's see how the movement is when it comes to this. Yep, it's clearly stuttering. So the emulation performance for Neo Geo is not perfect. Another thing we didn't try before is the search function. And I can tell you, navigating through this thing is a nightmare. And I mean, using start all the time, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It's so confusing. Like, how do I use this? You know, that's what I mean. Like, how does this actually work? I have no idea. Maybe use the back buttons? Oh, there it is! The back buttons! Who figured that was a good idea? Oh crap. I accidentally pressed enter. It's just like freezing now. This is so bad. Is it done now? No, it's stuck. Okay. Let's reset this thing. What a piece of crap. Another feature I wanted to check out. So when you're going to be turning it on and off, you can just actually see when pressing this button how many, let's say, juice is still in the device. So at the back we're finding over here the controller, and the controller is for getting the extra controller that I didn't get because it was way too expensive. But what you can actually do is charge your device with this. So we can just plug it in. Let's see if it's going to be working. All right. Let's see if it's going to be charging up. Ah, there we go. It's charging up. So that's one of the features. But whoa, the display. I was feeling that something, whoa, the display underneath is getting really hot, by the way. But that's it. So you can charge it up. But another thing we can also do is charge and plug it into the television with the AV out cable.